to who this may concern. And yes, I'm going to put links in the comment section of this video, but this has to be said. First off, I never said that you only attack the men. Yes, you also attack the women too. You also go after these women too. The issue I have is your approach. I mean, look at your strategy here. You think by getting rid of the manosphere first, that's gonna make feminism and toxic femininity and all these female spaces go away. First off, that's wishful thinking. Even I could see it a mile away. And if you do get rid of the manosphere, what makes you think they're gonna go away? That right there is wishful thinking. And on top of that, everybody is clearly stating that the manosphere is an effect, not a cause. So basically, if you get rid of the manosphere, what makes you think something else won't take its place? Something even far worse than the manosphere. That's like treating the common cold with just cough syrup alone. Yeah, the cough is suppressed, but what about the sneezy, aching, runny nose, congestion, high fever? What good is cough syrup? What good is cough syrup when it comes to those effects? And eventually, that cough is going to come back. Yeah, exactly. And this is no different. The manosphere is the effect to the cause. And we all know what the cause is. If you're going to go after one, you're better off going after all sides, not just picking off one side, hoping the other side will back down because by the end of the day, you can take off one side, but that doesn't mean that other side is going to go away. It's still going to remain. If that side still remains, guess what? The manosphere will come roaring back like a lion. This is what I'm trying to get you to understand. But silly of me. Silly of Uncle JD. What good is all that when even you yourself admitted to the fact that you don't watch other people's content? But wait, if you don't watch other people's content, then how will you know anything? How would you know anything besides what you know already? And no, making assumptions is not a strategy. But you see this quote right here. If you make listening and observation your occupation, you will gain much more than you can by talk. And even I learned this shit since elementary school. Whew. And no, I don't be on YouTube standing on my soapbox just preaching. And everyone can clearly see that I'm also out there on those front lines as well. In order to get change, in order to change things, you got to take that first step. You got to go out there and make that change for yourself. No, no, no. Instead, you expect other people to make that change for you. And what do? They constantly let you down. Don't take my word for it. How many times y'all went to war with the manosphere? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. 6 times y'all went to war with the manosphere in attempts to get rid of the manosphere. And how many times you lost? That's the same number of times consecutively. And that ain't the worst part. The worst part is not only did you fail to stop the manosphere, but the exact opposite happened. For every time you attempted to stop the manosphere and failed, more people started to take interest. More people started to join, and the manosphere has grown. What's the word? Extensively. Now it's to a point to where it doesn't matter what your next strategy is going to be, because now the manosphere knows that you're trying to get rid of it, and they will do anything they can and will to fight back. Again, don't take my word for it. I know you've been seeing this shit. You see it and I see it. And yes, I got people talking about, oh, you're now turning manosphere? Oh, you're now part of the manosphere now? No, JD Miles? Well, let me tell you the same way how Tupac said on an interview when his loyalty was being questioned during the East Coast, West Coast rap war. I believe Tupac said, this isn't a new allegiance to the West Coast. I've been West Coast this whole time. And in this situation right here is no different. No, this isn't JD Miles' new allegiance to the manosphere. I've been manosphere this whole time. However, out of all the people in the manosphere, I'm the one who lent an ear. I'm the one that decided to listen to what other people has to say. I'm more of a listener than a talker. In fact, if anyone paid any attention to my YouTube videos, notice that I don't make a single video, not a single video, without fact checking, without thorough research, or any of that. And there are times where I want to make videos, but I decide to hang back and chill. I ain't gonna talk about shit unless I could back it up. And if there's something that I have little to no information about, I will hang back until that information is brought. And when I do make videos, I ain't gonna come on YouTube trying to talk down on no fucking body. I ain't gonna jump on YouTube acting like I know more than you, and you. That's the easiest way for people to not listen to me. I ain't jumping on YouTube riding on my high horse. I try to be at the same level as the people I'm talking to and elevate them to that point. And this is why most of these cats have a hard time reaching the people. Yeah, I'm at my lookout tower watching and observing everything that's happening, as well as on those front lines out there in the real world making shit happen. Just recently, I just recently I went to Atlanta to speak at a convention about why paternity tests should be mandatory. And it should be mandatory. Men need to know whether or not they're the father of these kids. No different than how a child has every right to know exactly who their biological father is. And yeah, I know what you're gonna say, but I know what you're gonna say, but you don't want the government all up in your business. Yes, you told me this before. In which my response is this. Okay, so what you're saying is the government is not in anybody's business until these men ask for mandatory paternity tests. So let me get this straight. The government is is not in nobody's business. Say for instance, if he wants to get married, he and her wants to get married, and they ain't signing a governmental contract. So the government is not in their business on that account? Or how about this? How about this? The government is not in people's business if they want to get divorced. The government is not in people's business if they bring another life into this world. They not in they not in people's business, say for instance, if they want alimony or child support. So the government is not already in people's businesses with all that. But the government will be in people's business if say, for instance, this man has paternity doubts. This man doesn't know if this child is his or not, and he wants to make sure that he he wants to make sure that the child that's being brought in this world is is biologically his and not someone else's. Oh, that's the only time the government will be in people's business? Make that make sense. Because even I'm rocking my brain trying to figure this shit out. Oh, the government is never in people's businesses until men ask for mandatory paternity tests. That don't make no sense at all. Now, back to the manosphere. While you're so obsessed with trying to get rid of the manosphere, have it ever occurred to you that some of us that's in the manosphere is trying to take it back from these sad, retarded, fuck-ass bad actors? And let me go ahead and say this shit right here. That way I can make myself crystal clear on the matter. Fuck Fresh and Fit. Fuck Andrew Tate. Fuck Just Pearly Things. Fuck Nick Fuentes, which has no part, which his racist ass has no part in the manosphere at all. Fuck all these fucking bad actors trying to manipulate and mislead the manosphere. And yes, all parts of the manosphere. It's time we take this shit back. Instead of censoring people, instead of trying to censor people, why don't you give people a chance for them to take back and reclaim what's rightfully ours? And speaking of censorship, what I find most ironic is this, and yes, I said this not only I said this before years ago, but I said this in previous videos. Everyone is pro-censorship until it's their asses that get censored. Did I not? Did I not say that, fellas? Everyone's pro-censorship until it is them that gets censored. And just think, you got motherfuckers on YouTube trying to censor people, but at the moment it happens to them, woe is me. Feel sorry for me. Pity me. But the question is why? Why should they? Especially if you're the same one trying to censor other people, which makes no goddamn sense. It is one thing if this person is saying things and doing things that is just completely and utterly heinous and disgusting. That's a logical reason to get rid of someone. But trying to get rid of someone because you have a difference of opinion, that is complete, sad, and pathetic. In fact, why do you even have to censor when you can easily shut them down? And if you're able to shut them down, then guess what? They ain't got shit to work with. And I should know. Most of the retarded fucks that don't like my ass, I don't hear from them anymore, with the exception of 1, 2, 3 people out of I don't know, 80. How come out of that 80, only 3% is still trying and failing? Okay then. If you know what you're doing and you're able to get on people's levels, let them know about the situation, and guess what? They won't have a pot to piss in, rather than trying to censor people just for those same people to go back and try to censor you because you're trying to censor them. This is as they say in the streets, this is a kill or be killed situation. Or in this situation, this is a censor or be censored situation. This is the reason why I look at these pro-censorship cats as downright stupid. Because somewhere along the line, while you're censoring other people, you will say something that someone won't like, and guess what? Who's going to be on that chopping block? Even the man who invented the bronze bull as an execution device ended up being executed by his own creation. I'm just throwing that out there. No, I'm just throwing that out there. Or how about this? And as I said before, I have no problem with people addressing both sides. And don't get it twisted. As I say before, my issue is not the fact that you're just only going after the men and not the women. My issue is the way you put emphasis on one side while disregarding the other. Shouldn't both sides get that same fair treatment? And on top of that, yeah, everybody wants to say these black women, these black women. But the question still remains unanswered. Can you save them all? No, you can't, especially if they put themselves in that predicament. But of course, you got motherfuckers who sitting there thinking that, oh, I can save them all. I can save them all. They all deserve a chance. I believe one of my previous videos, I made Amazon Prime examples, and I gave presentations on the ones that you can't save at all. So if this black female murders her husband, or worse, murders her entire family, and everybody is ridiculing her for her actions, can you save her? No. Or how about this black woman over here who is a teacher who is caught touching her underage students? Can you save her? No, you can't. But what about that black female that just don't want to be saved at all? You getting what I'm saying, right? You can only save the ones that you can. All others you can only lead to their own vices, which is no different. Than is no different than trying to save black men that don't want to be saved neither. Am I right? And yes, out of everything, men need to be educated. Men need to know their history, physics, chemistry, science, mathematics. I agree with all that. But understand the situation at hand. Some fights you're not going to win. And on top of that, these same women some of these women you're trying to protect are now the same ones who are now acting no different than those same black women are no different than those black men they boo-hoo, whine, cry, bitch, and moan about being sexist and hates men. Some of them were already exposed for their own sexism towards men, their own misandry towards men, their own hatred towards men. So no, you can't save them all. And if we're gonna call out misogyny, misandry also need to be called out. And don't give me that shit about misandry not existing, because if misandry does not exist, so does neither misogyny. One can't survive without the other, and that's a fact. One can't survive without the other. So we got men in this world who hates women. Then you bet your ass you got women in this world who also hates men as well. And we're sick and tired of people steady trying to turn a blind eye, all because they want people to look at the world through their lenses, through their picture, while disregarding the frame. This is what I was trying to relate to. And no, why should I be on YouTube preaching when I'm on those front lines making shit happen? I'm out there on those front lines pushing for change, and I thank God I'm not alone. I see others out there on those front lines pushing for change too, just as much as they are on YouTube or on any form of social media preaching. But what good is you trying to lecture someone that's doing multiple tasks while you're just a preacher? Let's just keep it up front and real. Call a strike a strike and a ball a ball. Can you just can you change the world just by preaching? No, you can't. You got to be active. You can't be passive. But that's all I'm going to say because at this point I'm tired of talking. But before I go, here's another thing. And yes, for those of y'all who've been seeing my recent videos, here's something else as well I'm going to leave y'all off with. We now got women who are now out here saying the exact same things us in the manosphere been saying. And yes, 3 of those women I reacted to in my recent videos. So at this point, all I can say is you can only go after the ones who are fucking up now instead of trying to go after the whole manosphere as a whole, because not everyone in the manosphere all think alike. But this is the reason why y'all attempted to stop the manosphere 6 times and lost 6 times. Oh wait, make that 7 because y'all wanted y'all wanted Kamala Harris to win in order to stop the manosphere. And no, I'm not saying that you support Kamala Harris. But you needed her to win in order to stop the manosphere, and even that failed. So that makes this shit number 7. But enough of me babbling. I'm tired of talking. I'm ready to go out and enjoy myself. But I said what I had to say. I'm done, and I'm out this bitch. Later.